we move to a classic and the focus of the month of March, as the focus of the month of March is Jerry the King Lawler. The focus of the month of March will be the King, as the King steps in the ring against one of his former rivals, one of his greatest rivals, in Dirty Dutch Mantel. The amount of classic brawls that these two men had all over the Mid-South Coliseum, you could probably lose track of how many times these two competed against one another, but these two get to compete against each other one more time in WWE 2K23. Dutch gets taken to the outside, as Lawler's not going to go back in that soon and that quick. Lawler with a big right hand takes down Dirty Dutch Mantel. Down on the floor goes Dutch. Dutch was one of the top stars in the Memphis territory. On the side of Lawler, on the side of Bill Dundee, and a smattering of others like Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Tommy Rich, the Rock and Roll, the Fabulous Ones, the Rock and Roll Express before they were the Rock and Roll Express, as Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson both inhabited the Memphis territory. It is Memphis wrestling. Memphis, where wrestling was real. They have it on their wall. Personal issues make money. And that is what everything was in Memphis, Tennessee during the height of professional wrestling. Because when you can sell out a 10,000 plus seat arena weekly, every Monday night, every week, they sold out the Mid-South Coliseum, 10,000 plus people, and that was just in Memphis. That doesn't count the other areas of Tennessee, Kentucky, and a smattering of areas that inhabited the Lawler and Jarrett territory. But these two men are showing why they are great rivals, because they just put the pedal to the metal right off the rip and are going right at each other. Big right hand from Lawler takes down Dutch Mantel. Again, Jerry the King Lawler will be the focus of the month of March as we go to the territory where wrestling was real, as Dirty Dutch sails over the top rope again, but Lawler doesn't follow him outside this time. Lawler catches him with a big right, follows it up with a fist drop. Fist drop from Jerry Lawler. That doesn't feel good. And Lawler gives back to Dutch Mantel what Dutch gave to him earlier, and that was a nasty looking fist drop that Dutch is now feeling the effects of. And an eye rake. Dutch Mantel, he doesn't call himself Dirty Dutch for nothing. Dutch and Lawler collide mid-ring, and Dutch follows it up with some rights and lefts. Saito suplex by Dutch Mantel takes down Lawler, who rolls to the outside for a breather. But Dutch is going up top. Dutch is coming off the top, and Lawler catches him with a right as Dutch misses the double axe handle. He knocked the wind out of Dutch, because it can't feel good coming off the top rope and getting a right hand to your sternum. You gotta figure that it knocked the wind out of Dutch. Big knife edge chop, but Dutch sidestepped him. Short arm clothesline by Dutch. Short arm clothesline by Dutch takes down Lawler. Dutch with a right. Side Russian leg sweep takes down Lawler. Dutch is going up top again. Dutch is going up top again. He's short with the diving knee. He mistimed it, and you could tell that didn't feel good. But Lawler's got the abdominal stretch. He had the abdominal stretch for a second, and then Dutch follows it up with a reversal. But Lawler reverses Dutch back with a small package and only gets a 1 count. Lawler went for the lariat, but Dutch avoided it and drops Lawler with an atomic drop instead. Lawler fights back. Big right takes down Dutch. Big right takes down Dutch. Lawler. Big DDT takes down Dutch Mantel. A big DDT takes down Dutch Mantel. Dutch was rolling to the outside, but Lawler stopped him and went for the ladder of press. Lawler stopped him and went for the ladder of press. Goes for another ladder of press, does Lawler. And Dutch kicks out at the count of one. Dutch rolls to the outside. Lawler's waiting for him in the ring, though. Catches him with a right. Catches him with another right. Dutch. Lawler's on the middle rope. Double axe handle. Double axe handle by Lawler. And Dutch kicks out at the count of two as Lawler goes for the ladder of press after the double axe handle, but to no avail. Dutch gets taken down. Dutch tries to roll to the outside, but Lawler gets in his way. Dutch's back is being pounded on by forearm shivers from Jerry the King Lawler. Elbow strike takedown. The ref's in the way. Lawler, I think, was going for the middle rope. Lawler's going for the middle rope. But if the ref wasn't in the way, Lawler would have gotten up there in time to be able to do his move. He would have been able to get up there and do the fist drop onto Dutch Mantel, but the ref was in the way. Dutch. Hesitation from Lawler, and Dutch takes him down. Dutch is coming back. I don't know if I agree with this comeback for Dirty Dutch Mantel, but still, Dutch comes back. Lawler blocked him. Lawler blocked him. Dutch blocked Lawler. Dutch blocked Lawler. Swinging neckbreaker by Dutch takes down Lawler. Swinging neckbreaker by Dutch takes down Lawler. Dutch goes after the arm of Jerry the King. Dutch is going after the arm of Lawler. Lawler tried to roll to the floor, but Dutch got in the way. So Dutch did to Lawler what Lawler did to Dutch. But Lawler's arm, he's got to knock some sense back into his arm. Dutch goes for a top rope big splash, but again, Lawler kicked out. Dutch took too much time coming off the top rope, and Lawler took advantage of it. Lawler dropped Dutch with the pile driver. Lawler dropped Dutch with the pile driver. Lawler dropped Dutch with the pile driver. And he does the big splash back to Dirty Dutch. Does Jerry the King Lawler. And Dutch kicked out. Dutch kicked out. If Lawler would have went for the cover right after the pile driver, it is unquestionable in my opinion that Dutch would have been down for the count after the pile driver from Lawler, because nobody gets up after Lawler's pile driver. But the fact of the matter is, Lawler tried to one up his rival, I guess you could say. He tried to one up his rival and do what his rival couldn't, and that's pin him after the big splash. DDT takes down Dutch. DDT takes down Dirty Dutch. Lawler. He missed the fist drop. Lawler missed the fist drop. Dutch was too far away. We saw that earlier with Dutch. But Lawler goes to the top rope and tries it a second time, but Dutch moved out of the way. Dutch moved out of the way. Big scoop slam. Twisting elbow by Dutch Mantel. Lawler kicked out. Lawler kicked out. Lawler kicked out. Lawler kicked out. Again, a ladder of press from a frustrated Dutch Mantel. Lawler kicked out again. Lawler kicked out again. It's a frustrated Dutch Mantel. Lawler drops him with the enziguri. Lawler dropped him with the enziguri. These two men are giving it their absolute best. Wait, Dutch reversed him. Lawler was going for, you gotta figure that Lawler was going for the pile driver, but Dutch reversed him. Lawler was going for the pile driver, but Dutch reversed him. Dutch comes back off with a big splash, but doesn't pin Lawler this time. Adding insult to injury, Dutch goes for the pile driver. Dutch goes for the pile driver and drops Lawler. It's either insult to injury or how many people in Memphis did the pile driver. Dirty Dutch beats Lawler. Dirty Dutch beats Lawler and makes me question if this month should be dedicated to Dirty Dutch instead of Jerry the King. But this means maybe we'll see a rematch between Dutch Mantel and Jerry the King Lawler in the month of March, as Memphis wrestling is where wrestling was real. But Dutch and the King did not fail to disappoint. It did not disappoint unquestionably, and the fact of the matter is, Dutch Mantel and Jerry the King Lawler lived up to expectations 100%. With that being said, that is it from me, and I will see you in the next one.